You are listening to 5-Minute Meditations. Hello and welcome. This is your host Chandra. Today I wanted to talk to you about seeing light in tragedy. And so today is very sad for me. My son is again back in the hospital with what appears to again be the same kidney infection that has come back. He has a fever and he has high heart rate. Now, one may think, okay, this, whatever he's going to talk about, this might be spiritual bypassing. So what I want to speak about is not about spiritual bypassing, but rather that the saintly person, the spiritual practitioner, is always looking for an opportunity for personal spiritual growth. So one story is there was a great king, and he was kind of materialistic, not very spiritually wise, but he had a nice friendship with his minister who was very, very spiritually wise. And somehow they got along quite well. And he always liked to travel with his minister. So one day he decided to go hunting. He wanted to reduce the population of dangerous animals within the forest. So he took to his sport of hunting tigers and etc. in the forest. Now, while he was going through a thicket, his horse became startled by a cobra, and it jumped up, and the king, he fell off the horse, and the cobra immediately bit him on his thumb. And knowing that the poison would soon reach his heart and kill him, he immediately chopped off his thumb. Now this king, he was very fond of archery, which you cannot do without your thumb. It's very important. And he was also, an adept warrior. So he was very upset when this happened. But the minister said, "This is all by the Lord's grace." And he said, "What? Why are you saying such a thing?" And he started to speak in that way. And the king became very upset, and he decided, he told his other men, "Take him to our dungeon and imprison him." But the king was not to be deterred. He bandaged up his wound, his four-fingered hand, and he went on with his hunting excursion. But at some point he was captured by a band of thieves. But these thieves were into dark black rituals. So they had decided they were looking for someone to perform a human sacrifice. And they thought that by this human sacrifice to the demigoddess Kali, that they're going to become very powerful in their attempts of thievery and gaining power. So they are able to overcome this king and kidnap him. And they were taking him to their priests. And the priest said, "Okay, wash him up, get him bathed, get him dressed in the sacrificial clothes, like Indiana Jones." But when he saw the king, he looked at his hand and he slapped his hand away and said, "This human is not fit for offering." And he let the king go. So the king went back to his palace, very happily let his minister out. He said, "I understand now, but you also said it was all the Lord's mercy that I threw you in the dungeon." And the minister showed him his two thumbs. He said, "I would have been next. It's all the Lord's mercy." You've heard many stories like this. There is another story. Everyone's heard the helicopter story. There's one of a place where ancient fires in a village that were going on for hundreds of years burned out. But because of that, an invasion was stopped because the great army that was coming assumed that that village was abandoned because it had no fires, it had no chickens, it had no dogs running around. So what we're trying to illustrate is not a type of spiritual bypassing where we ignore the tragedy, but we rather always look for opportunities for our own spiritual growth. Hari Om Tat Sat. Thanks a lot.